Hey guys, happy Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Oh my god. Okay, so there's a girl, a YouTube creator, and I don't know. I probably found her channel years ago. At this point, years ago, um, probably 5 years, and she's very aesthetically, interesting to look at. And after years of watching somebody, even though it's just through YouTube videos and it's all very curated, and I understand that as somebody who does YouTube herself, not seriously, but like, enough. Anyway, I surmised that she was an ENTJ. I've met one, I think I've met three ENTJs, and like spent, concerted amount of times with all of them. Especially one, I lived with her for like 2 years or something. So anyway, the ENTJ, that is the rarest type. I think maybe the INFJ is overall, um, but it's the rarity is exacerbated by the fact that there are very few INFJ males. And ENTJs, same thing. Um, but the opposite, where there's very few ENTJ females, and that is actually right there, the ENTJ female, that is the rarest of all the types. Thank God. um, they're very difficult. They're very difficult. Like I have no problem talking about them because of all of the time I've spent with them. Um, and it's funny because in that time I've spent with them, when I let them know, I'm into MBTI, and this was, a couple years back when I was much more into MBTI. I've kind of just fallen out for, well, I know why, because I don't interact with people anymore. I'm a stay-at-home girlfriend, and I just don't interact with people. So, like, it's real MBTI. I feel like if you are somebody who wants to get into it, you need to spend a lot of time with people. You need to type everyone you work with, everyone in your family that you live with. Like, it's just, in order to be part of the MBTI community, you need to be part of your community. So anyway, again, I haven't had a job since last October is when I quit my job. And so ever since then, I have literally only interacted with one person, my boyfriend, an ENFP, excuse me, and I'm happy with that. Okay, they are a fascinating enough type to watch and observe and learn from, and see develop, and see their cognitive processes at work, and see the four sides of their mind. It's enough. So anyway, long story short, this creator who, the ENTJ is very, when they're subconscious focused, because it's the ISFP that it is their subconscious, which is the artist, as we all know. They have an incredible, and I think even when they're not subconscious focused, just in general, they have a very good way of like color coordinating, pattern coordinating. Aesthetically, they just have great style. It's, I mean, it's very hit or miss. But like I think, I'm not sure because I haven't watched very many interviews of this girl and stuff like that, but like I'm fairly certain, like if I had to put my last $20 on it, I would have to say that Blake Lively is an ENTJ. I would have to, and I would be happy to make that bet, quite honestly. Um, and you cannot deny, I'm sorry, that that girl, despite being a cunt, despite being a bitch, despite being a textbook ENTJ, quite honestly, she has pretty good style. But I can see, right? It's kind of like a the style of an ENTJ is like driving a car in water that's like this deep. It's very easy for them to start fishtailing and just making really, like, as we saw in the movie that Blake Lively did, the Flower movie, like, people ragged on her costume choices in the movie, that she was 100% in charge of, because it was just like, girl, like, what is this? What is this? So, I don't know. I'm not making sense. But anyway, okay. Let me get to the point. This ENTJ girl that I've watched for years, she went on her Instagram, and she recently launched a new business, and she hold on, let me get, she launched a new business. She made a post about it on Instagram, and on one of the last, like, you know, scenes of her post, she wrote, you know, a little bit about me. And in one of the little bits about her, she says that she's an INFJ. And I thought about it. I thought about it. I thought about it. I thought about it. I thought about it so hard. But I just, because I like her, because I like this girl, I wrote her a message, and I'm just going to read the message, because this is ultimately what this video is about. It's going to be called, the title, right, is going to be, am I an ENTJ or an INFJ? And it's just so funny, because it's like, if you do the research, if you give MBTI the respect it deserves, you would know that, which, you know, like, I just, it's so disrespectful when people, you know, kind of read about it like one does a horoscope in the newspaper. You know, it's like going to your local newspaper, reading the horoscopes, reading all of them, and being like, even though you were born in this month, you're like, oh, but the Scorpio one is more in line with what's happening with me. So I'm born in April, but I'm not an Aries or a Taurus, depending on where you are in the month. I'm a Scorpio now. You can't just identify as a type. Like, you can't. And it just sucks, because people don't, like, they just think, oh, because I like to spend a lot of time by myself, I'm an introvert. It's like, God, I've said this before, but it's like, when extroverts think they're introverted, I just look at them and think, am I a fucking joke to you? Like, you don't understand what it is to be an introvert, you fucking idiot. And ultimately, that's kind of like, this girl, it's like, I'm sorry, you are kind of an idiot. And you are kind of a bitch. And, like, look at the names, right? The ENTJ, right? When you get into MBTI, like, really into it, you kind of hate the acronyms, because it's just like, each of the acronyms corresponds with an archetype, right? And the INFJ is the sage, right? The sage of humanity. Every INFJ is a sage in their respective community. The ENTJ is the commander in their world. People listen to them. People do what they say. They have a presence about them that cannot be shut down. And INFJ, God, like, people write us off all the time, and I don't want to say anything about it, because it's like, I'm sure a lot of ENTJs might be like, well, people write me off. A lot of ENTJs who think they're INFJs, because it's a lot of them. Like, every ENTJ, as you'll see in this memo, like, literally every ENTJ I've ever met, they're always like, oh, I'm introverted too. Yeah, I'm introverted too. It's really hard, huh, to interact with people, to be around people. It's really hard. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch, you stupid fucking cunt. But it's just ignorance, and I should, you know, but I hate ignorance. Like, ignorance is, I'm sure it's really it's sounding that notion is sounding real rich to some of you right now, because I will say, like, I know 0.5% of MBTI, but still it's 0.5% more than like most people out there. So anyway, I'm just gonna read this message that I sent to this girl, but it's meant for all ENTJs, okay? All ENTJs who think they're INFJ, who really, really are like, yeah, I'm INFJ, okay? This is the message. Girl, you're an ENTJ, aka the commander of humanity, period. You are not a sage, and that's okay, period. Here are the 4 sides: ego, parentheses, ego, unconscious, subconscious, and superego of the ENTJ mind. Ego, who you are intrinsically. ENTJ, the commander. You can't tell me you are not the boss in most situations. The INFJ is never the boss. Hardly ever. Very rarely. Only in good situations where the fucking owner of the company is good and they choose good supervisors and they choose good managers and they hire good people. Only when all those things, all those stars have aligned and the planets and all that are good is possibly an INFJ in a healthy enough environment to embrace their subconscious and be the boss. But 9 times out of 10, the situation, the occupational situation or otherwise, is just not healthy. It could be a family situation. The INFJ is not the boss. The INFJ hardly ever gets the respect they deserve. They might get it from people below them, but and sometimes people ahead of them, but they will never be put in a position of power. Like, they are hardly ever put in a position of power. It is so hard to find an INFJ who has any monicum of power. I'm not sure if I said that word right. Unconscious. INTP, the logician. When we get stressed out, we go into our unconscious for inner wisdom. For example, me, as an INFJ, my unconscious is an ENFP. I get very, very, very silly and turn into a funny jackass when I'm stressed out. When you get stressed out, you actually become very, very, very smart, logical. Huge difference right there, huge difference. So if you're an ENTJ and you're like, think about when you get stressed the fuck out. Like at work, I guess, is a good way to put it, because it's kind of like work where it's like, this isn't real. Like, this office is not real. This warehouse is not, like, fuck you guys. Like, if your workplace is scared, is not scared, is stressed out, do you start cracking jokes or do you start making systems? 3, subconscious. I didn't put 3, but subconscious. Everyone's happiness lies in their subconscious, and it's the opposite type for all of us. For example, for me, I exhibit my happiness in the fashion of a total bro. I get loud, kind of obnoxious, and unruly. ... Queen of the castle. Your unhappiness comes out artistically. You turn into a visual savant genius. Most people don't see and simply can't do what you do when you're curating and creating. I think because you're a subconscious focused person, which is very unusual. Most people in like Western developed countries are stuck in their unconscious. You think you're an INFJ. What's funny is that I've met 3 ENTJs, and every single one would swear on their life they're introverted. The 4th side of the mind is the superego, is who we turn into when we want to burn our life to the ground / get violent. My superego is ISTJ. When I burn my life to the ground, I do it very methodically. I get very controlled, very cold, very organized. When you get into this mode, well, you get friendly. social, very chatty, empathetic. The ESFJ, that's the superego of the ENTJ, is known as the console of humanity. Unfortunately, because you're in burn down mode, no one wants to have / do anything with you when you're in this period of life. Anyway, sorry if this, I don't know, annoys you or upsets you. That's not at all my aim. And yes, I know I don't know you, and YouTube videos only show so much, and MBTI is something I've delved deeply into for many years, and what I've shared with you is only a part of the story. It's physical too. You look and dress like an ENTJ. Think Blake Lively, someone else who I'm pretty sure is ENTJ. You guys have a great, very distinct style. And then I just said, and then I gave her PS, I think your husband is an ISFJ. Love your channel, your style, your editing. And that's it. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, I think highly of the ENTJ. I really do. Like, they are very, especially as women, they're extraordinary. But they shop. Like, they shop. And it's funny because this girl YouTuber, she was very, very, very skinny. I don't know, 7 years ago. Very skinny. And then about 5 years ago, she started to gain weight kind of rapidly. And then a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, it was right when I had my appendix taken out. So it must have been 2 years ago. Yeah, it must have been 2 years ago now. She had a child, so, and she just recently announced a pregnancy, so she's not going to be skinny again. But literally, even though she gained weight 7 years ago or so, she still she's thought, basically, I guess until this second pregnancy, I'm going to be skinny again. And I mean like skinny girl. So I've seen her on her YouTube, she's bought all this clothes, skinny sizes, size 28 jeans. And it's just like, it's been so sad because it's like, girl, you are never going to fit into a size 28. Like, I'm sorry, you are never, ever going, unless you go on Ozempic, like, you're not going to be a size 28 ever again. But that's just what they do. They like to shop. This girl can shop. This girl can spend money like no other. And I'm sorry, like, INFJs, like, we can spend money. Yeah, sure, for sure. But it's just, it's what we like is not, like this hat. This is why I'm wearing this hat. This hat is, let's see if, so you see it, like, it's made from the Sears millinery. Okay, when Sears hired women, like factory workers, to make hats, okay, it's union made. This is a very old hat. I'm not sure what year, what decade. I'm gonna assume like the 50s. It's a little cake hat. I love it. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be kind of flat on this side and then like on here. I'm not sure. But I got this hat and 3 other hats in an auction, an estate sale auction. Like, sure, I love to shop. Look at this fucking room. It's full of shit that I'm trying to get rid of. But it's all been from dead people. I would never buy anything new. It does not speak to me. New stuff does not speak to the soul of an INFJ. Not saying not all new stuff. Some new stuff is very nice. Some new stuff is, it's expensive and it's worth it. But it's for us, shopping is just so much more of a thought out thing. I don't know. I won't even go into that because it's just, shopping, I think for anybody, all types, is, I think it's the most common addiction out there, quite honestly, like more common than drinking, more common than weed even. Like I think most people have or have suffered with a shopping addiction. And yeah, it's just depending on, your personality type. I think it kind of does help dictate where you get your things from. And the ENTJ, like, they have caviar taste. They have caviar taste. I have caviar taste, but it's like historical caviar. Like, this hat is so amazing to me. It's so amazing to me. It's perfection. It's historical. It's well made. It's cute. I'm probably gonna get like 1 or 2 chances in my life to wear it. But I like it, and that's all that fucking matters. Sorry, I'm so sweaty. God, we have been outside doing farm chores. We got goats coming. The first girl is supposed to kid in, I think, exactly a week, 7 days, on the 17th. And then her daughter will kid a week or 2 after that. And then little Orchid, our mini Nubian, she will kid a week or 2 after that. So we've got 3 to 9 kids coming. Most goats usually have twins, but they can have up to triplets. So it's kind of crazy. It's like, what, are we gonna get 3 or are we gonna get 9? That's kind of a big difference. And then after that, I got to start milking. A couple weeks after that. So we're getting the milking parlor all set up. Oh my God. One of my chickens is having babies, and she has 12 eggs under her. So one was born yesterday, and we're just waiting on the other 11. And then there's another girl over here who is sitting on roughly 12 eggs as well, and she's due any day to start, cracking. So it's so busy right now. It's so nice. So the past literally 2 or 3 days, it's been monsooning, like raining all day. And yeah, I live up in the Pacific Northwest, like 40 minutes north of Seattle. So it's, it's par for the course, but man, like, it's not usually that type of rain out here. It's usually a little more misty and drizzly and kind of stuff. Like, the past couple days have been like literally you're drenched just walking for 2 minutes to go to the car or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, ENTJ ladies, like, I really do like you guys. I respect you guys. The coolest ENTJ I've ever met was a girl I worked with, actually, and she was a few years older than me. And I don't think she had gone through a divorce because they were never married, but I think they had a couple kids together, and she had just finally kicked him to the curb. I think he was an ISFP, but I don't know. I'd never met him. But yeah, she was a very nice girl. I loved this girl. I should find this picture I have of. It's probably not in this phone. Damn it. But yeah, I loved this girl, and I loved meeting her because it was like, oh my God, like, ENTJ women don't all have to be such pains in the asses. Like, the other ENTJ, the one that I worked with, most of that I spent a lot of time with, she was just so difficult. I feel like ENTJ women, when they get money, whether it be through marriage or their I guess their job, they are just so insufferable. They are so obnoxious. They are so they're so high maintenance. They're so how do you say it, uncaring. They become so oblivious to, like, a normal person's existence and, like, the trials and tribulations that normal people go through. And it just sucks. It just really fucking sucks. Because they have so much power, and yet they just kind of are way too easy, willing to just kind of play like they care. And again, that goes down to the ESFJ subconscious. Like they just, it's really sad. I remember, like, you know, seeing this ENTJ, this wealthy ENTJ, in her subconscious, and it was like she wanted nothing but to have people around her and to interact and to talk out the feelings and stuff like that. But it was just like, no, nobody wants to be around you. You are literally intolerable right now. And it truly was one of the saddest things I've ever fucking seen. But, you know, it's also very hard to feel bad for them when they are wealthy, because you do see them spend so much of, you know, their family money. And that's one thing that this YouTuber girl, you know, I saw her for years do these hauls, and it's just like, girl, like, your husband, who's an ISFJ, they're a pretty young couple. They're a little younger than I am, and so they're in their mid-30s, I believe. And it's like, I'm sorry, like, dude, why are you doing that to your husband? Like, he you know, he can't stick up for himself, and you guys you're just getting out there in the world. Like, he repairs guitars, I believe. And it's like, I'm sure he makes decent money, but like, for what she's, you know, charging on the card and stuff like that, it's definitely a little more than a guitar technician can easily provide. And I'm sure they've been close to breaking up because of, you know, her shopping addiction, basically, which I hope that she has. Well, I know she probably has, you know, drastically kicked, because, you know, with one kid and one on the way, like, no, bitch, like, you cannot be that stupid with money anymore. Absolutely not. And this photo is not on this phone. I'm so upset. It must be on this other phone, and I lost that phone. I need to find it ASAPO. Sorry for that. Yeah, no, ENTJs, they're amazing, but I do think that money, like most people, it ruins them. It makes them not cool. It makes them very prone to just running cards up, you know, and sometimes it's nice when, I mean, it's nice, it's not nice, but like, you know, when they go from buying clothes and stuff like that, boots, shoes, expensive makeup, things that this girl is all very, very guilty of, you know, then they get into interior decorating and like landscaping and you know, leveling up places where they live and buying property and stuff like that. And it's just like, man, like, this, I'm sorry, but this country is not like, this country is not where you think it is, and it's really hard for them to understand that. So I don't know, out of all the types, or out of most of the types, I do feel like poverty does very well for them. You know, I know poverty is a very hard, you know, room to be in, but for them, I think it does wonders for their personality, wonders for their empathy. So I don't know, like, if you're an ENTJ, like, you're definitely not watching this, or you might, you know, you might, because I do feel like they they get to a point where nobody wants to be around them. Nobody wants to be around them, because I think they're the smartest person in the world, and they think that if everybody just listened to me, everybody would be so good and the world would be a better place. And I guess who doesn't think that, but like, they genuinely believe it. And it's just like, it's a huge sign of growth if you can get to a point where you realize that, like, you actually don't have all the answers for everybody. Nobody does, even themselves. Like, a lot of life is just suffering. It's just eking through. And you know, for them, they kind of, I feel like a lot of them, you know, like when they have a lot of money, they just think that that is unacceptable. But they get to a point where nobody wants to be around them. And, you know, as a woman, that is especially painful. You know, it's one thing to be a man going through life and just, you know, being a team of one. But as a girl, when you realize that nobody wants to be around you, and, you know, especially because you're extroverted, you actually do want friends, you actually do need friends. It's you get to a point where you start looking up MBTI and like what's the other one, the anagram shit, and all the other things to help you try and understand, like, why am I like this, you know, nobody else is like me. And it's like, yeah, because you're literally the rarest personality type in the world, and you're fucking difficult as fuck. Like, anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in. I know this is going to be a very niche video. But yeah, to anybody who watched it, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.